Hi folks, I'm Matt and welcome to my monthly channel update. I have some big news to give you this month, but I'm going to hold off a little bit and tell you some of this tiny news. My Star Wars Expanded Universe videos, still going strong, no change there. My board game reviews, I actually got my board game package in shortly after my last video. I've been playing them, I've made a few reviews, expect those to come out for the last half of the month. I've still got my top 100 vintage board games of all time, and by the way, the vintage board games of all time, I neglected to list 3 of them. A buddy of mine I was talking to, he said, well, I really want to know where this one ranks. I'm really excited to see where that ranks. And I was like, wait a minute. Why didn't I rank that? I didn't rank it. Found out there are 3 games that should have been on that list that weren't, and 1 that shouldn't have been on the list that is. Let me get to that one first. Chess should have never been on the list. My rule is if I don't have the game, I can't put it on my top 100. I actually gave away my little mini chess set. I totally forgot about that, so I shouldn't be ranking chess. But anyway, there were 3 that if I would have, I don't know how I missed them on my shelf. I very, very carefully went down, I thought, and named all the games on my shelf, but obviously I missed 3. The first one, which The Rise of the Titanic, or Sinking of the Titanic game. That's actually a pretty fun game. I would rank that around, I don't know, just spitballing here, 99 or 100. That would have made the list. Also Block the Clock, which is a fun racing game, especially with our kind of house rule where you just have to do it for 30 seconds on your own, regardless of whether it rings or not. That one would be in the 80s or 70s. And then the highest ranking one, which would be some place, I'm just spitballing here, I'd probably put in the 50s, but it was Legends of Zagor, the fantasy electronic game, which I do love. So you're not going to see those 3 games in there, even though I've reviewed them. I do love them. They should have been my top 100, but for some reason I'm an idiot and I just totally forgot to include them in there. Oh well, there's always next year, right? Now, talking about the expandeduniverse.com, don't forget, folks, that every Saturday, if you want to see more of me, I am doing a little segment there called Matt Chat, where I spend about 2 to 3 minutes answering some of your questions. I received some great questions for October, but I'm always looking for future questions. If you have an idea for a Matt Chat video, just let me know and I will definitely consider it. On Prince of the Universe, I am super excited about our guest speakers that we're going to have. First off, my brother Jeremy is coming back on. He's going to be talking about his new book, Progeny, which is an ebook. It's a collection of science fiction stories. It's on Amazon right now. And I'm going to have him on to talk about that book and his upcoming book coming up, I think it's next year. And of course, a lot of you really love that podcast. You really enjoyed him being on it. In fact, we had more views of that podcast than any other. He was a big star, so glad to have him back. He's my little brother. Of course, I'm happy to have him back. Also, the biggest donors on the Twin Sons Foundation last fundraiser, which was, it ended later on at the end of the summer. I'm finally having them on. The reason for the delay was that Sean, who's going to be my next guest, he wants to talk about the Halloween movies, you know, the Michael Myers movies, but he said, can we push this back to October? And then I asked the other 2 guys, I said, yeah, we can go back to October too. So Sean's going to come on in October and we're going to talk about the Halloween franchise. Now, I can't wait to talk about this. In fact, I cannot believe I did not think about this as a subject for Prince of the Universe, because I personally do love the Halloween movies. In fact, for this entire month, every weekend, I plan on watching the entire original 8-series run, at least by the time we do the podcast. But oh man, that is going to be a super fun podcast. I am looking forward to it. I hope you enjoy it as well. Now, on Saturday morning, Samoflange, I am tackling the last suggestion that we had from a viewer, or listener, I should say. It was the top 5 WWE tag team champions, or wrestling champions. Who are the best tag teams of all time? Now, just a little note here, I cannot get anyone to do this podcast with me. Mikey, who used to do the podcast, his life is way too busy for him now. He even works on Saturdays, which is usually when we record, Saturday morning Samoflange. But even on a weekday, he can't do it. CJ now has 2 kids. He can't do it anymore, so he's out. Step basically disappeared from the face of the earth, so I don't know where he is, so he's out. That's why the Missus has been featured on every Saturday morning Samoflange. And the Missus doesn't even care about tag team, wrestlers. So she's out too. So I'm just going to handle this one by myself. I'm pretty sure I can make it entertaining. But then after that, the missus is coming back on, and we're going to talk about the top 5 concerts we've ever been to. We've been talking about music over the past few months, and so we were kind of talking about concerts, and I said we should totally do one about our top 5 concerts. So we're going to do one about that. That's coming out on Saturday morning, Samoflange. Also, folks, do not forget that we have the live Q&A tonight. That's right, tonight. I am so sorry to make it last minute, but that is the only night I have available. Folks, I'm actually directing a dinner theater that starts well, tomorrow, but tonight's my last open night I have, available. So I had to do it. Sorry for the late notice here. If you have questions and you won't be able to come tonight, put them in the comments below, but make it quick because, your question may not get answered. I'm sorry about that, but just this time I have to squeeze it in last minute. I'll try to push it back to Saturday, maybe in November, since I'll still be busy every night with this dinner theater. But anyway, so super excited to do the live Q&A. And finally, the big news that you may not have been waiting for, but I want to show you this. Now, if you don't know what this is babies. That's right. The missus is expecting. And folks, there just ain't one of them there. 1, 2. What do you know? I'm having twins. We are super excited over this. I've been sitting on it for a while. I think my wife just revealed it on her Facebook page, so it's still kind of new to everyone. But I get the irony, right? Here I am, the Star Wars guy, and I'm having twins. But wait, it gets better. Do you know when they're due? You can't even make this up. Now, to be honest, it is actually May 8th or 9th, they said. However, because it's twins, they said expect them maybe to come in a little bit early. So me and my wife joked, wouldn't it be funny if twins were born on May the 4th? I mean, and what happens if it becomes a boy and a girl? Well, I guess I just have to call them Luke and Leia, right? Or Jason and Jana, which I think the missus is up for. I'm not saying those are going to be the names. I don't even know. I'd probably want to name them something else. But anyway, that's a lot of irony, right? Well, anyway, me and the missus are very, very, very excited. I'm super excited to share it with all of you who I consider my friends, not fans, you're friends of mine. And so I want to share that news and I want to celebrate. So this week, we are doing 2 videos every day. That's right, double the videos, double the Matt's Expanded Universe, double. I'm gonna throw in 2 board game reviews. I'm gonna throw in 2, back-to-back vintage, games, my top 100 vintage videos. So just double the fun this week to celebrate the birth or the, conception of twins. So anyway, folks, that is all I have to tell you about today. This is probably the biggest news of my entire year. Super excited. But I will see you later on this week.